It's the foundation for the success of not just Florida, but for any community, because you're not going to have a good economy if the streets aren't safe. You're not going to have good education if people don't feel safe. None of it works unless you have the foundation of public safety. And as the sheriff mentioned, as you see massive increases in crime in places like Los Angeles, Seattle, Chicago, San Francisco, Philadelphia, Florida has a 50-year low in our crime rate. So how could that possibly be? If it's going up in these other areas, how could it be lower for us as a relative matter? And it's not rocket science. It's a difference in priorities, it's a difference in leadership, and it's enacting good policies that are actually designed to protect the public safety. And we've done that. The sheriff mentioned some of the things that we did fighting back against defund the police. They were trying to, I know they slashed police spending for a while here in Illinois and in Chicago. They do it in Seattle, these other places. We said that that's totally unacceptable in Florida. And yes, we were not going to do that at the state level, of course. But you know, we have 67 counties. We got all these municipalities. You know, any city council can have 3 bozos do something stupid at any given time. So we took matters in our own hands at the state legislature, state level, and we said, no jurisdiction in Florida is going to be able to defund police. If you do it, we're putting the money back in. We're not going to put these people at risk because you're going on some type of ideological joyride. Not on our dime. You're not doing it. So we were able to stand up and really nip that in the bud. So you never saw that in the state of Florida with respect to defund police. Sheriff also mentioned how we responded to the BLM riots of 2020. As soon as I saw this going on in Minneapolis and starting to spread to like New York City, I called out the National Guard in Florida immediately. That's what they should have done in Minneapolis. You should have had the Guard out there from day one, and you could have stopped this. And now Minneapolis is a shell of its former self. People don't want to go downtown anymore. It's going to take decades for that to ever recover what it was. So we had the Guard, we had our state law enforcement stationed all across Florida. We were working with police departments, sheriff's departments, and we said very simply, you're not burning down the state of Florida. And they didn't burn down the state of Florida. We were able to do. But we also understood that I had police officers out in some of these protests, and you know, some of these people were throwing rocks at them, batteries, all this different stuff, and I'm just like, you know, that's unacceptable. So our anti-riot legislation, I mean, it did 2 things, really. One, it said very clearly, if you riot in Florida, if you loot in Florida, if you're engaged in mob violence in Florida, you ain't gonna be treated like they do in Portland, where they bring you in, slap you on the wrist, take your mugshot, and put you right back on the street to do it all over again. No, in Florida, if you're doing that, you're not getting a slap on the wrist. You're getting the inside of a jail cell. And we're going to hold you accountable. But we also said that we are not going to let you attack police with impunity when you're having these types of melees. And so if you do attack an officer who's there, they're basically just treated like sitting ducks, you're going to have enhanced penalties. And we're going to make sure we treat that with the gravity that it deserves. So we were proud to be the first state to really fight back against the rioting in a comprehensive legislative way, in addition to just taking executive action. And as all these other places were slashing police spending, I decided, you know, we're of course not going to defund police, but let's do something more. So in 2021, and we repeated it in 2022, we were able to give every single sworn law enforcement officer in our state, city, county, state agencies, we were able to do $1,000 bonuses across the board for everybody. And the thing about, you know, in an era of high inflation, every little bit helps, and Lord knows you're not going to get rich being a police officer, but it really wasn't even about that. What it was is they got to open up an envelope. They had a check that I had signed for, that was actually because we pay the taxes, so it was like $1,300. You get a $1,000 take home. And so they're seeing that, and yes, it's nice, but it just was the signal that sent, you know, as they're defunding police and attacking police in these other jurisdictions, the state of Florida is showing them that we got your back and we support what you're doing. So it was a huge boost for morale, and people were really excited about that. We were able to do it twice in a row. And then we figured out, you know, some of these guys are being treated so poorly. Places like Seattle, some of these other places, their morale is very low. We in Florida have an opportunity to capitalize off that. So we instituted a recruitment program, says anybody, and look, I don't beg people to move to Florida. I don't beg businesses, but I do ask for people in law enforcement who are qualified. Just know we have this recruitment program in place. If you come and you're qualified from another state and join any of our agencies, city, county, state, sworn law enforcement, you get a $5,000 signing bonus immediately right off the top. And again, it's just showing that we really appreciate what they're doing. It shows that when you come to Florida, you're going to be treated with respect. But we do